Why is Erdogan extremely popular in the Middle East and in the Muslim world?
Some media outlets work hard to portray Erdogan negatively, but he remains extremely popular in the Middle East, Africa, and the Muslim world in general, because he represents the strong and just leader they wish they had in their country. He is the Salahuddin of the 21st century. We don't have time to compare him to every leader in this region, but let's take the dictator of Chad as an example, and this will explain why Erdogan is beloved in Chad. Idriss Déby came to power in 1990 after a coup d'etat with the support of the French secret services, and the situation for the Chadian people got worse every year under his presidency. When Chad became an oil producer in 2003, Chadians thought that their future would be bright, but it was only brighter for a small group of people close to the president and his family. The Panama Papers revealed that the president of Chad is hiding over $10 billion in offshore accounts, while he refuses to pay the salaries of public servants. In the countryside, over 50% of the population lives below the threshold of abject poverty. Chad's government is considered one of the most corrupt regimes in the world. In the Corruption Perception Index, which ranks 180 countries on the basis of corruption, Chad is worse than 90% of the countries ranked. Now, Erdogan became a prime minister in 2003, and in 2014 he became the first popularly elected president. In 13 years, Turkish exports jumped from $36 billion to $158 billion. Turkey paid off its debt to the International Monetary Fund's IMF and even provided the World Bank with a loan of $5 billion. The gross domestic product (GDP) per capita in Turkey multiplied to reach $14,999 in 2019. Wages increased by 300%, and the GDP went from $311 billion in 2003 to $754 billion in 2019. The Turkish economy went from 111th position to 18th position and entered the club of G20. Let's talk about infrastructure for a moment here. The Ministry of Infrastructure in Chad is basically the money laundering ministry. The minister would ask for a bribe that equals 10% of every contract to be deposited into his personal bank account before he signs the contract. And he would split the funds with the president of Chad. Most of big projects and over 60% of road projects in Chad were handed over without bidding to a private company that's owned by the president's brother, who was a minister for a long period of time. The stories of corruption in Chad are simply insane. These images are from the capital of Chad. Can you believe this? The people of Chad are suffering while the president, his family, and his clan are literally throwing money on singers.
الرشيد وين تعال شوف البيا الحبيب كيف قسى عليا يا زمان يلا صبرني سهرة وين تعالوا شوفوا البيا إنني الغرام دي سهروي شوفوا البيا الحبيب كيف قسى علي.
There is no electricity in Chad. Over 95% of the country is in the dark. There is no access to clean, drinkable water. People are dying while trying to get water for their kids to drink in 2020 in Chad. There are no infrastructure projects in Chad to speak about. No transportation system, no trains, simply nothing. The president named his son as the head of the only national airline, and he just about ran the company into the ground. This brilliant son is the current ambassador of Chad in UAE. All this in an oil-rich country. Turkish Airlines has been named for 5 years in a row the best airline in Europe. Turkey has over 52 airports, including one of the largest airports in the world, in Istanbul. The transportation system in Turkey in general, and particularly in Istanbul, is incredibly efficient. And the new Made in Turkey electric train is a source of pride for Muslims around the world. Illiteracy rate exceeded 60% in cities and over 90% in some rural areas. There are no functioning public schools and teachers are not getting paid their salaries. The president and his clan send their kids to private schools and schools overseas to get the best education, and left the kids of poor Chadians behind. They control all scholarships offered by other countries, and they mainly send students from their region. Education and health are top priorities for the Turkish government. In 10 years, Turkey built over 169,000 new classrooms, so the number of students doesn't exceed 21 in every class. They built 222 new schools and over 125 new universities to increase the number of public universities. Education is free in Turkey, and the government supports families with low income by providing them with additional funds. Education and healthcare are the top priorities in the Turkish government's budget. They opened over 500 new hospitals, including one of the largest hospitals in the world. The few hospitals that we have in Chad rely on the medical aid we receive from other countries. The situation is so bad, people flee the country to Sudan to get medical treatment. The president and his family, they fly to France to be treated. Your chances of surviving a hospital visit in Chad are slim. There is no justice system. If you are from the tribe of the president, you have total immunity. Young man from his tribe kidnapped and raped a schoolgirl in 2016, and they shared images of their crime on Facebook. They were free to leave the country with their diplomatic passports. One of these criminals is the son of Musa Faki Mohammed, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Chad and the current chairperson of the African Union Commission. These criminals are back in Chad today, freely committing more crimes. A few weeks ago, the brother of Déby, the infamous Saleh Déby, caused the death of a young man, and the police in Chad didn't dare to ask Saleh about the incident. People are getting kidnapped, killed, tortured, and filmed while getting brutalized by the members of the president's clan with total immunity. The wife of the president is another criminal who is ruling the country alongside her husband. She is the merchant of death and misery. She created a foundation to collect money from donors to help the Chadian people. But instead, she keeps the money in her bank accounts in France. She even used the aid sent by other countries to help us fight COVID-19 to enrich herself. She simply makes the devil feel embarrassed. One of the most respected military powers in the world, the Turkish army produces weapons, attack helicopters, UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, tanks and ballistic missiles. The Chadian army has been transformed into a group of mercenaries. Déby would send them anywhere if he gets paid. He sent soldiers to Mali, Nigeria, Yemen, and recently to Libya to support Khalifa Haftar. Idriss Déby is not a president, he is a gangster supported by France. And what I have to say is that I'm amazed. I'm amazed that the French government believes that this man is their best option in Chad. The French army came to the rescue of Idriss Déby twice. They saved his corrupt regime twice, and without their support, he would not last 2 days. There is no way this is the best you can do in Chad. I mean, this is a man who said on French television that the French government forced him to change the constitution of his country to remain in power. He also accused France of being behind everything. It's not just France, I mean, look at all these countries that are doing business with Déby. Did Qatar forget that Déby was hired by Paul Baril to send 3,000 soldiers from his tribe to take part in a coup d'etat in Doha in 1996 for $20 million? Did Bahrain forget that Déby was behind the counterfeiting operation of 20 dinar bills that caused the authorities in Bahrain to withdraw from circulation all denomination of 20 dinars and requested assistance from the FBI? Did China forget that Déby at one point went to Taiwan and got paid hundreds of millions of dollars to recognize it and opened a Taiwanese embassy in Chad? Did China forget what Déby has done and continues to do to CNPCI, China National Petroleum Corporation International in Chad? I mean, the list of countries who suffered from doing business with this unreliable criminal are too long. The point is, Déby is a thug who doesn't care about Chad, and the people of Chad see in Erdogan the exact opposite. A hero and a great leader who loves his country and his people. A man of honor who works so hard to bring prosperity to his country. The people of Chad love Erdogan, and they also love the Turkish people for many reasons. The difference between Déby and Erdogan is the difference between a honeybee and a hornet. And Déby is not any wasp. He is a wasp at the end of his life, aggressive and painful to have around. I will leave you with these words from Erdogan himself. These are guiding words for us in our fight for justice in Chad. These words are fuel to our fire in our struggle to free our people.
La galibe illallah. Bunu öğrensin. Allah'tan başka galip yoktur. Tek galip O.
Unutmayın, her karanlık gecenin bir sabahı vardır. Her kışın baharı vardır. Karanlıkları aydınlığa çeviren, hüzünleri ferahlığa tahvil eden bir yüce el, bir yüce kudret vardır. Yusuf'u kuyudan alıp Mısır'a sultan eden bir güç vardır. Musa'yı Firavun'un sarayında yetiştirerek onu oraya hakim kılan bir güç vardır. Firavunları, zalimleri, hainleri zillete mahkum eden, mazlumun ahına cevap veren, sabredeni mutlaka zafere ulaştıran bir irade vardır. Allah'a dayan, saye sarıl, hükmüne rağm ol. Yol varsa budur, bilmiyorum başka çıkar yol. Hakkı tutar kaldırırım, zalimin asmıyım ama severim mazlumu. Zalimin asmıyım ama severim mazlumu.
teslim olan. Fatih olur, Mehmet olur her doğan. Kutlu sevgiden emanet duan. Dün Ertuğrul, bugün Tayyip Erdoğan. Kutlu sevgiliden emanet duan. Dün Ertuğrul, bugün Tayyip Erdoğan. Şimdi hasat vakti, milletin devamlı vakti. Birlik olmanın tam vakti. Haydi Türkiye, milletinin lideridir Erdoğan. Erdoğan, şahlanır sen dik durdukça bu vatan.